My brain hurts.
But actually how far the valve sits down in, which is in respect to
It hurt
stem
to
install
think.
height. So
I better let Obama think for me.
Stem installed height. So, different manufacturers ask for different things. International, for example, looks at a recession value of how far it sits in. They don't have a specification in the manual for stem installed height. Other manufacturers, like CAT, only refer to stem installed height, no recession or no protrusion. Cummins looks at their N14 engines. They look at the protrusion of the valve, which is in respect to, again, the position of the stem installed height. So if the valve is sticking out too far, then obviously the stem installed height is going to be smaller, which allows more spring pressure. So all of these, the protrusion, the recession, and the stem installed height, all reflect on the amount of installed spring pressure, which is really important for holding the assembly together and preventing keeper fling and valve toss and so on and so on. Okay, so the next thing we need to...
Thank you, Rain Man. I don't even have to pay attention. Rain Man heard it, and I remembered, and I didn't even pay attention. It's, you know, they're like, your short-term memory's fucked. Actually, you don't know about Rain Man, do you? I don't even have to read things. I can just, like, blanket them, and it's like, you could just, like, look around like this, and it's like the billboards are talking to you, and you didn't even know it. It's like the billboards are subliminal, because you wouldn't read them driving down the road, but the corner of your eye, Mr. Rain Man does.
Do is we need to check for the concentricity of the valve seat to the actual guide. So I put my pilot back in, and what we're looking at here is the angle of the valve face on the seat and the angle of the head. So if the head is slightly out of position because of the guide being worn, then we're not going to have an even seat all the way around. And what we want to do is concentricity explains that it's the difference between two parallel planes. This is one parallel plane, and the angle, the 90 degrees to this plane, has to equal the plane that we're looking at for the angle of the seat. So if they're too far out, then we see what's called an unconcentric angle, and then we have too much of a variation in the specification. So I've got my pilot installed, the seat is clean and cut, and now I'm just going to check my work.
I don't know, but I really like fluoride. Really, really like fluoride. I was just thinking about how much fluoride that I like. And Selma. Because a gram is always better than a damn. Whatever that guy's saying, it's like it hurts my brain. He's like, planes, there's planes, it's 9/11, angles and shit, angles, it makes too many brain cells try to communicate. I can't have that. I'm not getting paid enough to think right now. Maybe if there was like $20 an hour involved, I'd be like, okay, what'd you say? I'm paying attention for money now. What is on my face? There's a huge hair on my face. It's just like eyebrow hair. Eyebrows.
Gauge here, which is our concentricity gauge, and we have a little small anvil on here that actually needs to ride around the surface of the valve face that I have cut. So I'm just going to bring this tool in, and I want to position it so that I have at least 50 thou a preload on the tool, so I have a variation of values based on position. So now I'm just going to run this right against the seat surface with the anvil face, looking at the tool, and I've got about 75 thou a preload on it, and I can dial my gauge now to 0. So you can see here that the gauge is preloaded, and my anvil is actually touching right onto the valve face itself. And you can see that right down in here that we're actually contacting the valve seat with that anvil. So now taking a look, once we dial the tool to 0, and depending on manufacturer will depend upon the specification for variation on an unconcentric angle. Most do not allow any more than 5 thou of unconcentric angles. So we got it 0, I'm just going to push around on the tool, and I'm reading 3, 4, right at 5, and back down, and it's going around again, 4, and back down. So again, manufacturer spec is 5 thou for an unconcentric plane. At this particular point that I have a nice finish and the position is correct on the valve seat and the face contact width is correct, then at this point I wouldn't do any more work to it. We would leave it at that particular point. If you wanted to get the unconcentric plane out of it, we'd have to go back in and face cut it to make sure that it's true. Now, based on going in here and making those cuts and leaning one way or another can actually change how concentric those planes are. So it's important to go back and check this afterwards to make sure that we do have the correct specification. And again, it takes very little effort on your hand to turn it, and then you just read from one extreme to the other.
Shut the fuck up! You're hurting my zombie brain! Give me more fluoride! Sew my dummy down! That was too much thinking.
Back in there. So I've got this valve off, and there's all this crap all over it. It's basically carbon buildup. So I'm just going to take a piece of metal here. This part is not really specific. It has to be a good shape to help flow, but not until you get down over here does it have to be a perfect surface to seal. So I'm just going to take this and scrape it off, get all this crap off of here. And because we don't want that, because it just builds up and takes up space that air could be flowing through around your valve. So it's a useless waste of space. So that comes off really easily, and then when I get most of it off, I'm just going to take this little Dremel with a wire brush on it, and I'm just going to kind of buzz it off there. I'm also going to hit the surface edges of this, the touching edges. Alright, and there it is. Now we're going to go put it back in, and
I wish I could fix cars all day. Just because, like, look what I made. A car. What did you do? Oh, nothing. You're stupid. I made a car. What did you do? Drink fluoride. Water all day. I guess people do things. Then why does anybody do anything? If that's people do things, then why do they do anything? No, because you shouldn't do things. That's right. Yeah. Hold on, let me drink more fluoride. That makes perfect sense. Why do people do things if they don't do things? Why do people build cars if people don't build cars? Why do you have a job? No, you don't have a job? Then what the fuck do you do then? Question. If you have a job and you do things and you're like, nobody does things, then what the fuck do you do?
Shell, we believe the world needs a broader mix of energies, which is why we are supplying natural gas to generate cleaner electricity that has around 50% fewer CO2 emissions than coal. And why, with our partner in Brazil, we are producing a biofuel made from renewable sugarcane to fuel cars. Let's broaden the world's energy mix.
Hello everybody, we're back with the MG engine. I'm going to be replacing the valve stem seals, these little O-rings, because I
Can I fix a warped head and reseat valves if I so choose? Like every time I talk, like if I'm like valves, people are like, ow, my brain just hurt. Valves. Car pistons. Car pistons. Ow. 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 Car pistons. Valves. 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 Ow. 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 Sheldon's mom was a psychoanalyst. Ow. 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 Sheldon. Ow. Big Bang Theory. Ow. Ow. Penny. Oh. Zombies breeding zombies, like breeding like rabbits, like a cancer rabbit, like a zombie parasite. Breeding monkeys. Zombie dysgenics. Oh look, my neighbor has 10 kids. Oh, hey look, they're mentally retarded. Literally, like, the doctor was like, sorry, ma'am, your kid has dumb fuck syndrome. And they're like, oh, what can we do to fix that? They're like, nothing, you're fucked. Hope they don't grow up and have 10 kids. Oh, wait. My mentally retarded daughter is... you know, is 20 years old and just pumps them out with anybody. My father is a... They're like, he's a bum. And they're like, These valves look cool. How to set cam timing and fix bent valves. Dave's Farm. Ooh.
You how to adjust the valve timing on any engine, car, motorcycle, or lawnmower, and how to fix bent valves in my own redneck repair method that doesn't make you have to buy a new valve and replace it. A lot of people might doubt this technique, but I've been using it for 15 years on cars, lawnmowers, motorcycles, and never has a valve broken afterwards.
Oh my god, I heard a bunch of rumors about this guy. I probably shouldn't watch this video, because he's talking about valves. Oh, my brain hurts. He said valves. Ow. He's gay. Yeah, he's gay. He said valve. He has a bunker, because somebody burnt down his garage. And he make the YouTube video. He talk about valves like a fag, all proper with English and shit. I'm actually gonna watch this. I don't care what people say. I don't have to like or dislike him. He's talking about valves. And obviously there's more than 10 people that re-uploaded this shit, so fuck you.
Always worked 100%. So watch. So here's a typical flathead 4-stroke lawnmower engine, but for demonstration purposes it doesn't make any difference whether it's overhead valve or not. First thing you'll notice is most engines have marks on their timing gears to line them up. So on this engine, that little dot lines up with a little notch cut out in the timing gear. Now, if for whatever reason you're working on an engine and you don't know how to find the marks, or there are no marks, or you're just lost, there's a guaranteed way, no matter what kind of engine, overhead valve or not, that you can find out how to set the timing correctly every time. So this is called a flathead engine because the head is flat and there's no valves in it.
No valves. Oh.
Your piston and your valves. Now the trick to finding how to set the valve timing is...
So it's a flathead because there's no valves in it. I didn't know that. See? I just learned. I like that. My brain was like... Wait, I didn't know that? Let me program that in there. Flathead means valves are not in the cam top thing. Whatever. Like my brain is alive. Ow, he said flathead valve. Ow, ow, flat, ow, valve, ow, piston, ow.
Rotate your engine until it's on TDC exhaust stroke, not TDC compression. On TDC exhaust stroke, when the piston's exactly at the top, both valves will be open a tiny bit, like just about 10,000ths of an inch. That's telling you your cam timing is set correctly. There's no other way to do this without having the marks lined up right, but this way works true for every engine. When it's on TDC exhaust, there'll always be a point when both valves are open a tiny bit. So just set your cam gear till it's in that position. Now how to fix bent valves. For the purposes of demonstration, I'm actually going to bend the valve on this lawnmower engine. I'm just going to stick my screwdriver in here and bend it. Well, if you look at that very closely, it's bent. When valves get bent in a car or something, when the timing belt breaks, the timing chain flips, sometimes they bend a lot. But then you actually have to repair them and check your piston that it's not too damaged. But many times they just bend a tiny bit. On many engines, the valve that bends is the exhaust valve. This one's considered one that's bent a tiny bit. This even happens sometimes on overhead valve lawnmower engines. Now the trick to unbending them is actually simple. For example, if you can set it to the position where that valve is open, like now, you just stick the screwdriver in the opposite side and pry it back in the direction that you need to, and you have to pry it a bit farther than it's supposed to go. Well, how do you tell when the valve is perfectly straight? Well, that's simple enough too. You can rotate your engine. If, for example, it's a little engine like this, you watch it close. If it's an overhead valve engine, then of course the only way you're doing this is if the head's already off the vehicle, so you can't rotate your engine to do this. So what you do is just depress the valve spring or rotate the camshaft, and that will open and close the valve. So I'll give you an example on this motor.
Ow, valve, ow, brain hurt.
Push the valve spring, and it opens and closes the valve. And now I'll show you what I'm looking for.
You know why do people don't like him? He went to college for engineering and mechanics and all kinds of stuff. Like, he's not stupid. He fixes air conditioners, lawnmowers, everything. And he has a oh my god, he had a bunker because his house burned down and he didn't want it to happen again, so he made a bunker. He crazy. Who would have a bunker? He should just let his house burn down. That's what I think. He's a faggot. Like, ooh, gross, a zombie. Are they gonna mate and make like little zombie babies in front of me? Like, wow, I'm a zombie. Hey, look what I did. I just made baby. A lot of people won't even get that joke. They don't watch Joe Rogan.
When I straighten the valve to tell you if it's perfectly straight or not. Okay, here's what you're looking for.
Dude, Joe Rogan's funny. Let's do that. Let's look up Joe Rogan. Pick my nose. I uploaded this.
I'm really terrified to have kids because I'm dumb. Oh my god, man, I don't want to have dumb kids. See my kids struggle through math class. Daddy, how does that work? You gotta cheat, that's what I did.
You got my genes. I never figured it out. I don't think you know all the hormones in the meat. You're fucked, kid. That's what's unique about me. I know I'm dumb. Most dumb people don't have a clue. You gotta be dumb to be willing to fucking get on stage with a microphone and spill your opinions to a bunch of strangers and hope they laugh. You gotta be some kind of fucking weirdo. And I know that, but most people don't know they're dumb. There should be a way to tell, like a little home pregnancy test type thing. You know, because no one's gonna go to class and find out if you're stupid. If you can just take something home and you lick it and go, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Shit! Fuck you, I am. Nobody wants to believe they're stupid. You wouldn't even believe that. If they came out with a test, there'd be websites devoted to fucking disproving it. For sure, right? Nobody likes to think we're dumb, but really, most of us are pretty dumb. Even the smart ones have really just memorized a bunch of shit that other smart people have figured out. I mean, like, what if everybody out there died and we had to take over the world? Just the San Francisco Cobb Saturday night 8 o'clock show. How do you think we do? We do okay. There's some smart people here. There's some good genetics, right? We do fine for a little while till shit started breaking. Does anybody know how any of this shit really works? I mean, why is that loud? Any ideas?
Oh, wait a minute. That's what I was doing, is figuring out how some of this shit works.
Because I don't have a fucking clue. If you left me on an island for 1,000,000 years with all the tools in the world, you come back, I'll be stabbing fish with a pointy stick. Alright? I'm not going to figure that out. I'll never be able to make a microphone. But I got one. I got a camera on my cell phone. I don't know how it got in there. Maybe they use magic. I don't even know what the fucking camera is. I know I press a button and the picture shows up. What happens between me pressing that button and that picture showing up is anybody's fucking guess. There might be Gremlins in there smoking crystal meth and fucking leprechauns in the ass, spray painting pictures. I don't know. I really don't know. I never even thought about it once. I go, what a pretty picture. And now it's mine. I'm a photographer. Think about all the shit you need to run your life. Satellite dishes and Blackberries and cell phones. How many of you know how to make any of that shit? I mean, if I left you alone in the woods with a hatchet, how long before you could send me an email? We're not smart. We're just buying shit from smart people. And I don't know any of them. Do you? Smart people are just like some myth. I've heard of them. There's a genius. He lives in Texas. He makes video games. He just sit in front of the computer all day. How many of them are there? Is anybody watching them and making sure they breathe? No, nobody gives a shit. That's my biggest fear, is that one day, quietly, all the smart people are just going to die off and leave us with a bunch of shit we don't understand. We won't even know it's happening, so it's too late. We'll be hanging out partying, want to do shots? Fuck yeah, I'm going to work tomorrow. Whee! The power just shuts off. What do you do? What do you do in Calgary? I don't know what you do. What I usually do is I like to sit around and I wait. I figure this probably a guy working on that. He's probably psyched. They get like time and a half. And the power goes out. How long did it take before you realized the power was never coming back? It would take fucking years. You'd be beating in the street with torches. Hurt anything? Shit! I think animals would figure it out. They just realize the cars aren't moving anymore, there's no loud noises, and bears just start jacking people. They would just have little bear meetings. Just fuck salmon, they're fast. People are slow and they're fat and they taste great. You don't even have to catch them. You know, if you scare them, they black out. Bears start feasting. Bears just adapt to only eat people. Now we're fucked. We got these strapped everywhere we go. But that's fine, dude. I got guns, man. I'm not afraid to use them. I'll shoot a fucking bear. Until I run out of bullets. I don't know how to make a fucking bullet. You know how to make a bullet? There's no bullets at all? Shit! For fuck, for saving ducks, we gotta get out of the city! People just naturally move back to the caves. Caves are safer, dude. Guard the entrance with sharp, pointy sticks. Back the fuck up, bitch! Keep the violin! We would just get down to a core group of crazy monkey people who forgot everything. Freaking Amish, what the fuck are you talking about? You get a pointed stick and you stab the monster! I'll eat you, motherfucker! I'll eat you! people, as long as they could survive long enough, they would refigure things out. The smart ones would survive. They could re-evolve. Crazy fact. Like cavemen coming out of the caves and discovering the ruins of downtown San Francisco. Just wandering around. Dude, what the fuck? What the shit? You had to be here. Fuck yeah! That's what I'm thinking. I can't make that shit, can you? That's impossible. I think this has actually happened to people before. Yeah, I was super high when I thought this up, but it makes sense. I'm talking about the pyramids. I think my theory explains the pyramids. You ever watch a documentary on the pyramids? Guesswork! They don't have a fucking clue as to how those things were built. This is real. I'm not making any of this up. Great Pyramid of Giza has 2,300,000 stones that weigh between 2 and 80 tons. Some of them were dragged from a quarry 500 fucking miles away. With no machines, no trucks, no steel. They had copper tools. Yet they figured out how to mathematically perfectly place the stones to true north, south, east, and west. If you cut and place 10 of these monster stones a day, it would take you 664 fucking years.
Or what if you cut 100 stones in a day? You'd cut that 10 times. But they said that it would take so much and this and that.
To make one pyramid. All brought to you by people who thought the god Ra took the sun across the sky in a canoe and returned later that evening with the moon. They had 16-year-old queens. Cleopatra was 16 when she was running shit. That's like Lindsay Lohan being queen of the world. They built that? Are you sure it was the same people? Are you totally positive? Because I have another theory. I think that people used to be really smart. But the dumb ones just out-fuck the smart ones. That's what I think. I think we are all the bastard children of the idiot stone workers of Egypt. It's the only thing that makes sense. I think once upon a time there was a master race. They were reading each other's minds and mapping out the cosmos. And they were free of ego. And behind them, the stone workers just walked away. I think another person. How many you make? I made 4. I made 5. I found a race I can win. More people. I'm gonna show you. 29. More people. And one day the smart people just died off. They probably invented a robot fuck doll and never had a kid again. One day the idiots who showed up at the pyramid. Hello? Folks get us text on Friday! What the fuck is going on here? What do you think we'll do? Why would you live in that little hut, that little shitbag hut, when you can move into pyramids? Then we just start talking. Sure nobody lived there? Nobody lived there. Let's just move in. We just start claiming the room. King's Chamber, I called it! Woo, I'm the king! And after a while, they just forget. We did! We're the best! We're number 1! Egypt! Egypt! You should be proud of your heritage, son. Look at what we've accomplished. Look at this beautiful flat wall. They're not making that in Europe, boy. I think I would draw 6 figures on it. This right here, this is a woman carrying fruit upon her head. Very important to document. Pass that knowledge down. Right here, this is a man, but he have the head of a dog. His tongue, and he's evil. Now listen to him. He believed in a dog like that. God, how stupid. Yeah, not like you who believe in dudes who walk on water and came back from the dead. You're a fucking genius. I believe the crazy shit. Oh, yoo-hoo. I'll go to church with anybody who's willing to smoke pot, look through a telescope with me. That's what I was. Nobody wants you.
Wait, no, oh, what did he say? What?
I'll go to church with anybody who's willing to smoke pot, look through a telescope with me. That's what I.
He'll do. You know, I guess Joe Rogan, he was like Fear Factor. You know, I guess he ain't really nobody important. He did like, what is it, UFC. You know, so I don't know how much money you'd make, like doing the UFC announcement and Fear Factor. You know, maybe he, you know, gets little incentives here and there, but you know, if I gave the guy any credibility, I guess, you know, maybe if people respected him a little, you know, they might say, well, what did he have to say? I don't know. He said something like this.
Oh, sorry.
Nobody wants you.
I'll go to church with anybody who's willing to smoke pot, look through a telescope with me. That's what. I'll go to church with anybody who's willing to smoke pot, look through a telescope with me. That's what I always say.
I'm just one of those stupid people. I don't think intelligence has to be a big deal. It's just it either happens or it don't. It doesn't mean like that they're not smart. Even if they're not, it's just it doesn't matter. If we live in a prison full of zombies, and it's like, when in Rome, do like the Romans do. And what did they do? It was called the Sin City, or it's where it's called the town of sodomy or something. And they were gay, the Greeks and Romans, or they were both. I don't really care. It's like you live in a it's like gang stalking or something. Or aliens. Or just harassment. I think it's harassment, really. I mean, that's actually pretty common, just everyday old shit. Like I say, it's normal to be stupid. It's kind of weird. Like I was saying, when you live in the dystopia, you're just kind of supposed to be in that dystopia like a lemming. Like you're supposed to be a lemming. Like everybody does it. You're supposed to do it. You're supposed to sell out. You don't really have a choice. I just like trying to make a choice and then try to make a smart decision. It doesn't mean I do. Like if I fuck up, it's like I just want to learn from my mistake and be a better person. And so I just try to think of ways to do that. And so I don't know why, it's just, you know, maybe that's what they wanted, and by they, you know, could have just the influence that be, like the peer pressure or whatever, peer pressure. Call it like social Darwinism or eugenics, or dysgenetics would be the dumbing down, which is the theory is very real, but you know, the practice might not have a whole lot of restrictions, actually. You know, there might not be a lot of government enforcement towards persuading people to really things that nobody could even ever approve of, just because you can't. Even if you add even making money to it, then it's like you could go to Africa. You could go to China. And if you would notice, like, people could live there, like in a hut. They could just live in a hut. And then some of them could live in skyscrapers. Some of them drive cars, or some of them can only afford scooters. But it's like, something in America is really fucked. And I'm not saying China's better. Because I don't really know. I guess it could be like that anywhere. It's like there's this weird expectation. Like everybody acts like they owe you something in America, but I don't know. I'm sure it might, it could be worse in other places. It's like where I live, there's this always constant intimidation. And it just seems like if piranhas can strip you to the bone in a matter of seconds. Because they're in groups. Like piranhas could strip you to the bone in a matter of seconds. But one piranha ain't gonna do shit. This intimidation is from this herd lemming group weirdness. And I think maybe they, since it's like a group of piranhas, they benefit. And they feel safe from themselves. Like, they won't get stripped. Like, why don't the piranhas eat each other? I don't know if they do or not. But they act in a group, and it's like, so these people seem like, they know they're in that group, and they seek acceptance into it. But I mean, it makes sense. Like, people are just an organism, and that's what they do. But it's like they might pick things. It could be based on faith in God or anything that makes you a part of their group, and so that's a good thing, it's in the guise and the disguise of good. And I mean, it might have some good, but I don't really care personally. I think people can do whatever they want. That's the point, freedom of religion. But then when the religion tries to control you, there's no freedom there. Like, sure, you have freedom of religion, but you don't have the freedom to force people into that. And that's the thing, they feel like they're enforcers, like a piranha group of piranhas that think they're like good and holy, and if you're not good and holy like them, then you're just bad. And it's like, you know, it makes sense, because it's like I could easily be that ignorant, and it would be because you don't know anything any differently. You don't have a spectrum of choices to choose from. You only have one, and are asserted that it's correct, and that's the only one, and so you don't know anything any different. It's called indoctrination. You're indoctrinated into a certain belief. Rewarded like a cult. It's been thought of a lot that a lot of religions are just a cult. They sure did make a lot of noise.